Hey guys, this is Market Update. We're in a bit of a summer standoff at the moment, right? So we tried to break out of this 120 level here and rejected. Tried to break out yesterday again, we've rejected again. But we're just ranging into all-time highs. We've got the inflation report out later today as of making this video. So the market usually just kind of softens a little bit in anticipation of that. Doesn't matter what it is, totally irrelevant. I want to focus on the signal here, which is Bitcoin is the most diversified and highest yielding market index that you can invest in, right? What are you going to invest in? What do you want to put your cash in? There's nothing better than this. It is more diversified than the S&P. It's more diversified than the NASDAQ. And it's going up 2 to 3x those. So what else is there to buy? There is nothing else to buy. This is the best investment you can put your cash in. For the rest of this cycle, you can see MVRV. I'm not interested in letting any Bitcoin go until we get to higher prices or MVRV spikes up to 3, 4, 5. Then if MVRV spikes, we can let some Bitcoin go for our trades. I'm not letting any of my spot go. I have some active trades on for this cycle, and I'll let them go if MVRV spikes up here. You can see every single peak, MVRV spikes up to higher levels. We are still in a very calm level for MVRV. If this spikes higher, I'll let some go. If we get to much higher prices, I'll let some go of my trades. But for right now, I'm long, and we go higher in this bull market, I think. Now, if you look at inflation as well, we're thinking 2.8% for the CPI. Lagging data, right? This is going to keep coming down. PCE, which is what the Fed looks at, has a big shelter component that's going to keep deflating. We're seeing deportations out the States, rents. You can see all the future-looking rent indexes coming soft. Inflation is going to keep coming down, and that's perfect for them. That's why they look at lagging data on purpose. See the lagging data, it's all coming down. They print, and they say, look, the lagging data is showing weak inflation. Meanwhile, they're printing under the surface, they're creating inflation, and that's what markets price in, and that's why Bitcoin's going higher, because markets aren't stupid, and they know that the money printing is happening, and they know that the policies that are happening now and will happen over the next 6 months are going to cause inflation down the line in the lagging data, and that's why we're going higher now. So we go higher, my trades are still on. If you trade Bitcoin or crypto, go down to the description, click the link to Bybit if you're a new user. Anything you deposit, they'll give you a deposit bonus to trade with, up to $30,000 as a deposit bonus. Yes, I've got some trades on, but the much more important aspect of Bitcoin is the long-term aspect, right? Saving for your retirement and saving for the future. And Bitcoin is the best thing. It is the perfect thing for this, because Bitcoin is perfect money. And we've searched for thousands of years, right? We've used everything. We've used salt, we've used beads, we've used gold coins, silver coins, we've used paper. None of it's worked. Bitcoin is perfect. It's just a measuring stick by which we can measure value created and value saved over time, right? What I'm trading short term is the dollar debasement cycle. We're in a dollar debasement cycle, right? The Treasury is having to refinance. They're refinancing the short end, right? Pushes asset prices up. Why? Because of this. You can't save in this. Fiat currency is not money. It is not an asset. You should not save any of your funds in this, right? It's going to go down. It's the only possible thing that can happen. So you have to get out of that. And most people save in their house because it's a massive purchase, and that's pretty much where all their income is going anyway. Luckily, that goes up around about the rate of inflation, more or less, so decent as a store of value. Then you've got stocks, which have typically been great. You have groups of people that can protect themselves against inflation via putting their prices up and cutting costs, etc. But then you have perfect money. You've never had it before. Now, gold has protected itself, or the gold exchange rate versus dollars, right, has gone up because there's more dollars. Gold, therefore, is a better thing to hold than dollars. But Bitcoin is perfect money. Every single cent that is printed, right, is going to be priced in to perfect money because it can price it perfectly, right? So you're saving for your retirement. You're saving for the future. What are you going to save in? Your house, stocks, and Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is a diversified, broad index. It's literally money. So it indexes every single person in the whole world that uses it, including hundreds of companies now and governments. It is the most broad diversified index. It's going up at 2 to 3 times the rate of the S&P or the NASDAQ. It is the trade of our generation, right? Why are you putting money into the S&P when Bitcoin's going up? Well, like it's annualizing at 40% a year right now, but let's call it 2, 3, 4 times the rate of the S&P. Why are you putting money into the S&P when you have perfect money, which is more broad and diversified, that's going up at a faster rate right now? You can't save in this. This is garbage. But the broader application here, right, is not the choices that we're making. It's all of that passive money that is being debauched. Your savings in your pension funds and your state pension funds, it's not there. What do you know what pension funds mostly invest in? Bonds. That's the scam. Bonds are the scam, especially government bonds. They are the scam. Pension funds investing in the scam. You retire, you realize inflation has been so rampant that the money you thought you had isn't there. Do you know what happens when the bonds collapse? They print money to buy the bonds. Inflation again. Your pension fund that you think's there, there's no money there. It's in bonds. You won't have money to retire on. This is the UK gilts, right? If this was the Bitcoin chart, right, and we've just gone up like this, and then we're in an ascending triangle, this is the most bullish pattern ever. We're going much higher, right? This is UK bonds. The yield is going through the roof. Now, we're not going to break too much here, right? Because the government, through the central bank, is going to print money to buy their own bonds. That is fraudulent. Do not put any money in government bonds, right? The yield's going up, the bonds are crashing. Who owns all the bonds? The pension funds are bankrupt. They don't have your money. Please, please, please do not buy bonds and have cash. Bitcoin is actually money. It's hard money. And this isn't. This is a scam. The government buys its own bonds. It creates bonds, spends it. The bonds crash. They print money to buy the bonds. It's a scam. And they tell you your pension fund is going to pay for your retirement. Long-term treasuries. Look at the return here of bonds, real estate. This is what pension funds invest in. You think that is going to be okay in a retirement fund? Why are you putting a single penny in any retirement account or like state pension or anything that's going into bonds? That's part of the scam. That's how they get you. You can't invest in this stuff. Oh, but Bitcoin's volatile. Are you joking? It's real money. Versus this, versus literally scams. Government bonds are a scam. This is BlackRock's best performing, I wouldn't say best performing, it is their highest assets under management real estate index. So a lot of this, pension funds have commercial real estate, etc., bonds, right? Huge amounts. Over the last decade, if you put 10,000 in, you've now got 13,800. In 10 years, the thing's gone up 38% in a decade. Bitcoin's up 500% this bull market, right? You say, well, yeah, you might have been lucky to buy in at the bottom. Buy every week and get your 30, 40% CAGR that it's been annualizing at. It's not going to do this forever. It's going to go down to 25 and 20, right? You have to get in, if you have the cash now, to buy the best performing asset that is also very large and diversified. In any case, $10,000 times 1.1 to the power of 10, I think the inflation rate, right, is at least 10% a year in dollars. So in order to just have the same purchasing power as 10 years ago, this should be worth $26,000. It's worth 13. You have lost money buying real estate, this real estate index. This is what pension funds invest in. Scams and terrible assets. Pension funds are just starting to invest in Bitcoin now. You can see that. States are starting to do it. I think Harvard recently bought some Bitcoin, right? Because they get it. Bitcoin is money. Yeah. Bonds are a scam. Please look at your pensions, what they're investing in. Don't rely on the state pension. There wouldn't be no money in it by the time you get there, because that's what governments do, right? They raid everything. That's what the UK government does. They raid the pensions, print the money, debase the currency, high inflation. The only way to protect yourself is in private assets, right? Your property, stocks, and Bitcoin. You have to protect yourself. It's not just a speculation. It is the perfect solution to the problem of everything being taken away from you over time. I've seen a lot of sentiment that we'll never have bear markets again. This actually is a little bit worrying, although it shows that we're quite high in the bull market. All of that sentiment, there'll be no more bear markets, we're going to $1 million a coin, etc. All of that is bull market stuff. So a slight worry. And that's why up here, I don't really want to be taking too many new positions. I'll probably be looking to sell positions as we go higher, right? Because when sentiment starts to shift to people saying there will be no more bear markets, that's when things are beginning to get frothy, right? There will always be bear markets, right? The stock market has been around for hundreds of years, still has bear markets, right? Yes, maybe the percentages change a little bit. Saylor has said no more bear markets. There will be, and that's because Bitcoin, we look at the exchange rate versus the dollar. So you're looking a lot at the dollar, not just Bitcoin. And the exchange rate versus the dollar is still controlled by the Fed, and the amount of money creation that they have a lot of control over the amount of money creation and credit creation. A lot of these companies here, these Bitcoin treasuries, right, are entrenching the dollar system and the debt system. Strategy number one, right? They are issuing dollar denominated debt. They now have billions of dollars of dollar liabilities that that will change dependent on Fed policy. So they're actually becoming more dependent on Fed policy over time, right? The amount of debt that they can issue, the amount of equity and debt that these companies can issue is reliant upon a central bank policy. And central banks have these cycles where they ease, they create inflation, they pull it back. We will, of course, have cycles. Saying there isn't going to be another cycle or another downturn is ridiculous. And it's the type of thing that you hear in bull markets where things start to get a bit frothy. So that's one of the things that I think just have to be careful of. Strategy are issuing dollar denominated debt. They are entrenching the dollar system more and more and more. The game here in financial markets is who can issue the most paper to buy actual stuff, right? Issue paper, buy real assets. That's what they're doing, but don't get liquidated, right? But there will be bull and bear markets because the amount of credit creation over time changes. Credit creation is sometimes encouraged, prices go up. When the Fed does QT and pulls everything back, raises interest rates, credit creation on the margin slows, and that's when you get bear markets. We will have them. People saying that there won't be is a sign of a little bit of froth in the market. I don't think we're at all-time frothy levels at the moment, but those sentiments are not bullish for me. When people saying there won't be any more bear markets, we can't go below this certain price, we're going to go to XYZ price, don't feel comfortable there. We're starting to get into that territory, but we're not quite there at the moment. In any case, I'll be making an update for the Crypto Investor Course members next few days, hopefully out by the end of this week, on my long-term thoughts on Bitcoin and 10-year investment strategy, essentially. If you want to see that, the link is below. If you haven't got the course yet, if you've got it already, it'll be free for you. Bybit deposit bonus down in the description below as well. I'm James, this is MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.